Hello, this video will review for faculty how to use checklists in Brightspace by D2L. These checklists can include text, videos, or web links. They can also include due dates that will appear on the D2L calendar. These checklists can be included in every module or every other module or created throughout the course. They might also be to-do list for every module in the course or a step-by-step process for completing a larger activity. First, we want to navigate to our course and choose the module in which the checklist should appear. Notice here I have some information in the Add Description area that might include information that might be put on the checklist, including objectives or due dates or those type things. Then to actually include the checklist, you want to go to Upload and Create, and we're going to create a new checklist. From here, we want to give it a name, and then you could choose to give it some instructions or a title if we like. This might be something simple, but keep in mind that you can include web links, images, or you can actually record a video right within here by using the Add Video Note. Now that we've created the title, we want to choose to add a new list, and then this is where we're going to start building out our checklist. In most cases, you're going to have just one list per checklist, but you could potentially have more if you have multiple things going on. So we'll build a checklist just for the things that the student would need to complete in this school change module. So we'll name this list Things to Do in This Module. And now that I have the list going, I can start adding tasks to that particular list. So I'll name task 1. So the first task is going to be to read the PDF for chapter 10, and then I can add another task. Then we're adding in our next, and then we're going to add in a new task. All right, so we've added all of our tasks in, and this again is just kind of a play-by-play of what the student should do in this module, almost like a to-do list in the order that they should do that. So this might be simple enough. This might be all that you add to this particular list, but you can go in and add in new due dates for each of these activities, or you can add in descriptions to give more information. So when you click on the Add to Description, notice that you see a text box. With this, you can type in text. Remember that you can insert images, web links, or videos by using the Add Video Note as well. By selecting Add Description, you can add some more information to this particular task. Keep in mind you can again add text, you can do an image, a web link, or you can add in a video where you personalize a video using the Add Video Note. This might be a good area to give more information as to what specifically they're focusing on that task. You're not required to add a due date to these tasks, but you can if you like. Keep in mind that there will already be a due date for the activities, so the quizzes, the discussions, or the assignments already when you create the activity itself in the assignments, discussion, or quizzes area on the nav bar. That will automatically speak to the calendar in D2L. So if you add in the same due date here, it will really just add a duplicate, but you are welcome to do it, and the students will just know that they'll see multiple chapter 10 quizzes due on the actual calendar, but it'll all be pointing to the same quiz. So you might choose to do that depending on how you have your course set up. But so you would just add in these due dates. And you might even add in due dates here for these particular activities. Now, adding in these due dates does not mean that, after this date, the PDF is going to become invisible for the students. That's not going to happen. If you wanted that to happen, you would do it in the content area by changing the properties for that particular PDF. You can make it become invisible for the students. This is just, again, a checklist to kind of help them stay on task. almost like a to-do list. So I could say that you should have the PDF read by this date. But it's not going to really do anything. It'll tell them here when they come in, it'll show them this date so that they know it's overdue. And it will show on the D2L calendar for them. But when they go to the content area, the PDF will still be available to them after this date, because you didn't restrict the PDF itself in the content area. So again, you might choose to add these in just more or less as a guide to the students to know when they need to do these different activities, and kind of help them time manage as they go through. All right, so we've added in this one. Again, if I wanted a separate list, maybe they're doing something separate in this module. Maybe I want to add the specific steps for signing up with ProctorU. I can make a whole new list, or I could add in additional tasks. But generally speaking, this is what your simple checklist would look like. Most of the time, you would put your checklist at the top of your module so that it's kind of the first thing that they see before they jump into the content, so they can look at this and see what they need to do in what order and then start the actual materials for the course. You do want to make sure that it is visible to the students. If it's not visible, you'll see an eyeball with a line through it like that. So you want to make sure that you have it on there. And then this is how the students would see the checklist. They would just click in it, and then they would be able to see the different activities. They would be able to see the due dates for them, and they would be able to see any description that you have on it. Now again, this is very much like a to-do list in that even if the student goes and takes chapter 10 quiz, it's not going to check it off for him or her here. They do have to manually check these off as you would with the to-do list. So once I've read the PDF, I'll just check it off. It will show me that it's due the 23rd. Again, keep in mind that it's not going to make it invisible by the 23rd. Same thing here. Once I take the chapter 10 checklist, I can go ahead and check it off. Here is the due date for it. Keep in mind that you want to put this due date on the quiz itself. That's what's going to do the restrictions, and make it available or unavailable to the student based upon that date. So these are all self-select checklists. These are not going to automatically check off for the student as they complete the activity, but it is good for them to check it off, and then later on they come back and need to pick up where they left off. They're able to go right into this checklist and see what they've already completed based upon what they've checked off, and then continue on. If we go to the main homepage of the course, if we go over to the calendar area, we see that some of these checklist items have populated onto the calendar. When the student selects that, it'll take them, if they click on this, it'll take them right to that checklist area. It'll also show them when they have completed it, which this is the date that they checked it off. So while I might have taken the quiz on Sunday, April 24th, but I didn't check this off until Monday, April 25th, it's going to show it checked off. This is going to be the date that they checked it off, not when they actually did it. While you might have a checklist for to-do items within a particular module, you might also make a checklist for larger projects to kind of give the students a step-by-step in order to complete it in a timely manner, which is what we'll do in this checklist. Like we did before, we gave our checklist a name, and then now we're going to start adding in individual tasks. So in this case, we've listed out the particular steps of picking the teachers that you want to interview, emailing those teachers, interviewing, completing the compare and contrast chart, and then using that to create your presentation. So I've added the particular topic and added in little reminders of more specifics related to that. And then what might be helpful in bigger activities or larger activities is to add in due dates that will kind of give them milestone markers to help them complete the task in smaller steps rather than having all of this done by one particular due date, just in case they happen to procrastinate or just in case they happen to be overwhelmed. If you give them smaller due dates to get these tasks complete, it might help them in getting it finished on time. So in this case, if the major project is due, say, at the end of May, then I might want them to have their checklist completed by a week before that, so that they have a whole week to complete those activities. And then I might want their interviews done even a week before that, and have their emails done even 2 weeks before that, and then give them a week prior to that to actually think of those interviewees. So again, keep in mind that these are going to populate on the D2L calendar for you, so that they'll just automatically be in two places. But for the things that they're actually going to turn in, like the compare and contrast chart in the assignment area or the presentation itself in the assignment area, you want to make an assignment area for it, as well as put that specific due date on that particular assignment or activity itself, because that's what's going to hold and control their ability to submit or not submit. If we go to the course schedule, which is at the top of the content area before your different modules, notice that within the course schedule we have in our particular pieces that we've just added in. So what we're doing each time, and then they're able to click on that and it will take them directly to the checklist here. And they're able to check these things off as necessary.